All right, what is up, YouTube land? So I wanted to make a quick video about 4th gen crew cab seats and a 3rd gen quad cab. Don't judge me on this carpet kit. I didn't put this in. The first thing, which you're gonna see on every single forum, is to lob 3 inches off the backside, which you can see right here. We had to do, because the total length is like 17 inches on these, when the stock 3rd gen is 14 inches. So you got to cut that off first. Then the second thing I did, you don't have to do this. The little pin, the little set pins, these guys, I drilled the top part out. This one's kind of crappy. The other one that I did is a lot better looking, but you got to drill that out, and then I knocked it on out. And then for the rear hole, obviously you just take a measurement from this guy on the back side right there and waller it out. I went all the way from a 1/4 inch hole to a 3/4 inch hole, just kind of sitting on the ground and drilling it out. I gotta flip that over on the back side so that you guys can see it better, but you can kind of see it on this guy. Let me see. Not super good lighting, but down there, that's where the hole is. And then for the seat belt, because there wasn't enough, I didn't feel comfortable with how much thread was actually going into the hole. So I went ahead and I picked these up from Home Depot. These are just grade 8.8 bolts. They are M12 by 1.75 50 millimeter bolts. They are not a 13 mil. Where's that socket? Okay, they're a 5/8 bolt head, but I'll take you guys through all of that with the 60 side bench seat. The total time that it took me, because I had to like constantly take stuff in and out, and then I had to run to freaking Lowe's and Home Depot. But actual like working time, I don't know, 1.5 hours to do the one seat, and now it's like fitted properly. The only thing that I haven't done is the latches up here, but you can see where it's contacting, and what I have to do is I push slightly on this guy to make sure it latches in place, and it does hold in place, but not comfortable enough for me to like bless off on it and say it's good to go. So more than likely what I'll do is I'm just gonna go to Dodge, because my truck came with a bench seat. It didn't come with the 60/40. So I'm gonna go and order 2 more of these brackets, 2 more of these little bolts, and then the little clip fastener thingies that go in these holes right here. And then I'm gonna have to move this up and over just slightly, because I want it to be to where I could still put it down like this, because I actually like that. But I'll show you guys really quick. So I gotta bring it up like that, and then when I let it down, it's gonna be kind of hard one-handed, but I had to push on it slightly, and that's how it sets in place. Yeah, pretty easy process. Honestly, another way that you could go about cutting these off, which I really considered, and that's honestly why I first chopped that bolt out, drilled it out and everything. Right here, you could cut it off, but when, like before I had chopped this backside off, I set the seat in there, and it was like really crappy. The amount of legroom I had was garbage. So chopping off 3 inches from the backside made it a lot like I don't want to say more comfortable because that back seat sucks, but it's not as crappy as it would have been if I had cut off the front side. This seat's just tired. And then obviously, if I can upgrade, why wouldn't I upgrade? I got the freaking 4th gen front seats, so I should have the 4th gen rear seats, right? And then this guy has a cup holder on the back side of it, so that's pretty sick. But, all right, I'm gonna get started on this and I'll show you guys every step that I went through. Obviously, do your own thing. This is just some tips that I wish that somebody had given me, or if there had been a proper DIY, it would have made doing this a lot easier. But here we go. All right, so first thing that I did, and I'm gonna do it again, is take this dude and measure from the top to the center of the opening, which for me is basically at 3/4 of an inch, right? And then let me come over to this guy. I'm gonna flip it over. All right, got it flipped over. 3/4 of an inch from right here, and that's where I'm going to mark it, because that's where like the first hole has got to go. You can set it a little bit lower if you want. That just means you're going to have to waller out the hole a little bit more, but shouldn't be an issue. So from right here, I'm going to put my hole like right there, centered on this guy. So I'll show you guys that. All right, so you guys can see slightly right here where I just kind of made like a rough scratch from where I'm going to do it. That's roughly 3/4 of an inch down, centered on the old hole. And same with this one. I actually misspoke earlier when I said 1/4 of an inch. That's fairly large, and I'm not going to be using that as my pilot hole. So I picked 5/32. And yeah. I'll report back once the hole's drilled, just because it's so loud on the dang GoPro. All right, so little holes made, right? That's gonna be my pilot hole. And then all I'm doing is literally going up from smallest to largest, the whole way there, all the way up, just because it makes sense and it doesn't destroy the bits. And it makes it easier on my drill. So that's what I'd suggest you do. Once I get these 2 holes all the way drilled out, I'll report back to you guys. All right, so right now, I just finished up drilling those holes. You can see they're slightly wallered. Probably gonna waller them out just a little bit more. Honestly, it's making my drill super hot because it's not an easy task for these, to drill these holes out, you know. Once it's done cooling off, I'm gonna waller out this hole, and then I'm gonna waller out this hole, just to make things super easy as far as fitment. All right, so now this hole is wallered out kind of poorly, but it should work either way. It's gonna be covered, I don't really care. Here's this hole, and here's that hole. Now, it comes to trial and error, picking this bad boy up, putting him in there, and then wallering out the hole depending on how it all sits in there. I'm hoping that this is a first time go, because picking this freaking thing up and pulling it out is annoying. It's not as easy as the 40. Once I get it in there, finalized, I'll report back. All right, hey, so real quick before I put my seat belts in, I just wanted to show you guys the hardware stack up that I was using. So here's the bolt that I talked about earlier. And then I put it under a 1/2 inch wide lock washer. Then I put it into the actual seat belt. You have the plastic and all that. And then it's going on this washer. And that is exactly how I'm installing it. So this is replacing this bolt with this washer and this guy. Because since I'm going from the 60/40, or from the bench seat to the 60/40, my bench didn't have this set up before, so like the amount of threads that would be threaded into the little seat bracket wasn't enough for me to feel comfortable, so that's why I bought this new bolt. Should be super, super tight. All right, the seats are finally installed, both sides. The seating position, I'd say, isn't super great, but for a little person, I don't think that it'll matter. For an adult, probably not gonna be very fun. I already showed you guys this side. Let me show you the other side though. So, all right, everything is set up. This side's the same as the other though, where I've got to adjust those / buy more. But you can see, kind of see that little silver bolt. That's the new hole that I had to drill. And then the other bolt over here, let me see if there's some kind of way I can, well, shoot, I can show you where the seat belt goes. I don't know if you guys can see that, sorry. This is just on my GoPro, so it doesn't have any light, but I had to drill those holes, not holes, golly. And then I had to waller out this hole, but you can hardly even tell. I mean, with that washer in place, it doesn't even matter. And then these guys are just in place, just kind of sitting there. Pretty cool addition, I think. Just that in its own is pretty neat. Let's see. Yeah, you can see how both seats sit. They sit relatively flush with each other. I mean, maybe off by like a sliver. This guy's obviously in place. Everything looks good. The seats are solid. This is just part one video. Part one of the rear seats install, because obviously still got to do the rear latches, but I just wanted to add a couple tips in there because I didn't see very many across the internet. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks.